Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Today, 2 live trades are being featured. One will answer this question. What do you do when you get into a trade and suddenly the momentum of the trade drops? It's not even there anymore. Do you stay or do you run? And a very exciting trade with a NASDAQ100 Micro Emini during the morning drive time. We've got a great trade to show you on that one. That and more coming up next. Well, we all want to make money when we trade. I mean, that's why we do it. But there are some rules and ways to go about it that are a little smarter than what seems to be obvious, that the first priority should be making money. Well, you're probably reading and you're ahead of me by now. The amateur traders are so obsessed with making money, they lose sight of rule number 1, which is at all cost, protect your capital. And rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. Professional traders, those that last over time, they are obsessed with managing risk. That means great trade selection, and it also means the ability to recognize when you're in a spot where you should cut your losses or at least give up the hope of profits so you can move on to the next trade. Okay, here's a live daily chart that I'm going to call high volatility, high risk. Right here is 9:30, the beginning of the day session trading. Now, the area highlighted in yellow from 9:30 up until 10 o'clock, the first half hour of the day session. Now, I'm going to zoom in here so we can check the volatility on this trade. But before I do that, look in the bottom panel at the MACD. From 9:30 till 10 o'clock, the lines are pretty much intermingling, and it's undecided in several directional change in the market. All this happens in that first half hour. Now, I'm not going to say I don't trade during the first half hour, but sometimes it does look like this, and it takes 30 or 45 minutes sometimes for the market to settle down and get into its rhythm for the day. And sometimes that never happens either. But I'm going to zoom in here and show you this high volatility here. Now, what I made the decision for me not to trade at the 9:30 opening, that's a personal decision. I'm going to tell you why I don't do it, and you get to decide what you are or what you are not going to do. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to put the dollar amounts on these candlesticks in the first half hour. Now, I want you to imagine that you're going to trade right at 9:30, and you think you have a pretty good bead on the market. Now, the first 5 minutes, it varies 35 points, which in NASDAQ100 is $70, and the second 5-minute section, $74. Are you beginning to see what would have happened to your account if you'd put in a $30 or $40 stop-loss order? You would be doing what they call paying tuition. You'd be being stopped out of a trade because it's so volatile, you can't fit a $30 or $40 or even $50 stop order into these first few minutes of trading every day. Now you look down at the bottom there, we talked about the MACD. It has no directional qualities at all. And with a $30, $40, $50 stop order, you're just going to lose money. This is a great time, a wonderful time not to trade. Now, in case you're starting to think that volatility is the enemy, it really isn't. It's not the enemy at all. Volatility that's too high, as we just saw, has higher risk, and you get stopped out, or you have to have stop-loss orders so far away it's going to get very expensive to trade. Not an ideal situation. On the other hand, low volatility, as I'm about to show you, has such low risk that there's no opportunity there. Take a look at this chart, S&P 500 Micro Emini, $5 a point, 10:08 Eastern Time on Tuesday, the 8th of August. Now, here I had just shorted one contract at 34.25 3/4. Now, I look down and my green line is below the red line, and they're both below the zero line, a sell signal under my suggested guidelines. Now, I look back and I see that before the market opened, way before 9:30, the volatility was very low, but that's not that unusual for that time of day. And then at 9:30, the market opens and the volatility doesn't go wild. But I do notice right here that I'm getting some downward motion, downward momentum, that is, at about 9:45, and it looks like this average of the S&P 500 may go down a little bit into the market. So that was my reason for placing the trade. Now, I've got to see what I'm going to do with the trade now that I've got it. Now I'm going to do a fast forward. We just entered the trade at 10:08 a.m. I'm going to go fast forward for 10 minutes up to 10:18 right now. Okay, let's stop the time machine. I've been in the trade 10 minutes now. The time is 10:18. I put it on at 10:08. And I shorted at 34.25.75, and we're 34.31, give or take a click there. And so I'm down about $26.25 in the trade, and I'm 10 minutes in. And down here at the MACD, although the latest candle isn't finished yet, it looks as though it may turn up, and that would suggest a slowing down in the momentum of the trade. Now, the momentum obviously was down, so if it slows down, it's going to be less likely to continue downward from here. So I have to make a decision. I'm not down that much, $26, but I don't know how much I'll be able to make on this trade. So is the risk and the reward, are they commensurate here? Is it going to be worth it? Well, I decided that I would give it a try since the losses weren't very much now, and I'm going to wait and see what happens. So we are going to pull out the time machine and take another look. Stand by. Okay, now 20 minutes have passed. Look down at the MACD. The red line, green line's almost horizontal, flat. The momentum is gone from the trade. I've spent 20 minutes on here, and now I'm only down about $7. It's time to cut the cord, get out. There's not going to be enough reward here to warrant any risk, so I'm done with the trade. Now, if I'm honest, the reason I stayed in this trade the last 10 minutes of that 20 minutes was I had 2 5-minute red candlesticks there, and I was hoping the market would go down, even though everything else was telling me the momentum is waning really fast. And I'm lucky I didn't lose $31 to $35, and I only lost $7 or $8 on this trade. But the point I'm trying to make here for you is when it's time to get out, get out. No hesitation. It'll save you a lot of money. By the way, right now, it's a good time to tell you, the like button on this channel, what's it for? If you want more videos like the one you're watching now, please hit the like button. That helps me make the videos for the channel that you want to see. Thank you. The same people that made thinkorswim made Tastyworks. They sold thinkorswim and came back a couple of years later in 2017 and made a fantastic bunch of software called Tastyworks. It's free when you sign up there. I recommend it and use it here on the channel because it's fast, it's easy to learn, and I think it's almost perfect for this kind of day trading, the Micro E-minis. Look at the broker link below if you'd like more information. I would appreciate that. This is my favorite part of the video here, where we can do a nice live trade. This is going to be a good one to learn on here, a good practice trade for everybody. And it's a nice trade. It's fun. It's up $20 now with only one contract of the NASDAQ100. It's up $15, $20 already, and the trade just didn't show me any drawdown at all. And we have pretty good momentum. You can see over on the right-hand scale in the lower pane, I'll highlight that in yellow for you. Those relative strength numbers down there are running 11 to 15, somewhere in there. And that's pretty good. That's showing some good strength, good momentum, I should say, going down. I'm short that contract at 11,612.25 points. And I want you to imagine how you're going to manage this trade. We're quite used to we always never get used to try to manage a trade when it goes against us, but this is a nice problem to have here because we are challenged with managing a trade that is a good trade right from the start and has virtually no drawdown at all. And here I'm just putting my blue line on the screen so I have a good visual reference there. You can do that. There's a little drop-down window at the top in the Tastyworks platform for that. Now we're down at 605. That's about 7 points, call it. So we're up $14 here. And we're still just, 90 seconds or so into the trade here. Be thinking about how you're going to handle this, because if we didn't have any drawdown and we have some profits right now, we only got $5, $6, $10 in there. It's not enough to put a stop loss in there. Not enough. For me, I'd like to be able to lock in some profit on this. But if I did that now at the break-even point, it's only 4 or 5 points away. I probably get stopped out. And since the momentum's good, I'm going to stay in the trade and follow it along and see what it does here coming up. Not quite enough that I can go back and put a stop loss in there, or a stop market order, I should say, to be able to lock in enough profit. So now I'm 87, 12 to 24. I'm about $48 up right now. And that's getting close enough. Now I'm 57, call it $60 up right here. Now I could go back in and put in a stop market order and lock in about half of that $60. And I go back at the screen here and I'm looking at it, and I'm mentally doing the math on where I'd need to place that. And of course at 12 down and 12 up here, that's $24, $48. I could put in a $20, $25 stop market order here, but that is to lock in that amount of profit. But I'm just going to let it run. Look what's happening down in the red circle down below. The green line is dropped down even more. It's headed even farther south, which means we're picking up momentum in a negative direction. So this trade is definitely making some progress for us, and looks pretty good at the moment. Now the time is now about 10:46, so we've been in the trade 5 or 6 minutes here, and we're trading at 576. So it's 25 and 12 would be 37, or about $74 up in the trade at the moment, which isn't shabby. That's really good. And that green line down there in the circle on the MACD is still headed south, and even going more so. So we'll hang in a while and see what happens here. Now it's 7 or 8 minutes into the trade, and we're trading 11,570. So that's we're up about $84, almost $85 now. 11,572, but it dipped down to 11,568. It's already back up to 577.50, almost up 10 points in just a matter of 3 or 4 seconds there. That happens. It's part of the gig. But when you're up some money in a trade like this, we're up $80, and now we've given about $25 or $30 of that back in the last 15 seconds. So you start thinking, wow, should I exit this trade, take the money and run? It's still just 7 or 8 minutes, and I'm up about $40 or something like that. But because that momentum down there in that MACD, it's still very, very negative momentum with a good velocity down there. So I'm going to hang into the trade and see what happens a little bit here, and try to shoot for some more. One of the big mistakes, the number one mistake that people make in traders, new traders I'm talking about, old ones too, as a matter of fact. This is a problem that stays with us all for life, I guess, but it's a two-parter. One is allowing our losses to mount up and substituting hope for a strategy. We all get familiar with that in a hurry. And you have to be ruthless when it's time to get out of a trade. Rule number one and all that. The other problem that people have is not letting a trade like this run its profits. There's nothing to indicate this market should turn around and run back up rapidly. Doesn't mean it won't happen. And I'd probably be smart to put in a stop here somewhere. But I don't know, call it gut feeling or whatever, but I've given half of that $80 back now, and I'm starting to second guess my decision to stay in this trade. So you have to ask yourself, you're watching this along with me in real time, what you would be doing. And, if you did take what we're 580, we're 20, 32, $64 up in 8 or 9 minutes. If you did take the profit right here and you made $65 in 8 minutes, if you just turned the computer off, you had a good day. And then if you go back and see all the profits you could have made later, of course, that's the genius of hindsight, and you have to forgive yourself for judging your own trading by that, because it's never real. You only get what you see in the middle of the screen. There's just no way we can tell the future unless it's already happened. Anyway, it's time to get into Time Machine now. We've been in a trade for 10 minutes now, and I don't want anybody to go to sleep, so I'm gonna fast forward here. We're at 10:51 right now. I'm going up just 4 minutes, and you'll see a huge difference in this trade. You care to guess what it's going to be? Well, we'll find out right now. Okay, we're going out to, it's now 10:55 in the trade, 14 minutes. It's trading 11,537. We're up $146 now in the trade. And wow, look at the MACD in the red circle in the bottom pane there, the green line dropping even further down. I just adjusted the scale there a little bit. And this trade is going extremely well. Now it's time to do something and take some money. Watch what happens here. I've been in this trade for 15 minutes, and you see the white candle forming. The first one since the trade's been on. It's going the wrong way for me. So I've got a nice profit in this trade, and it's time to take it out right now. And I'm not going to do what a lot of beginners do and try to quibble about 1 or 2 points. I'm taking something out here, and it turns out to be $124.50, no drawdown, 15 minutes. That was a fun trade. Now, I want to show you what happened 15 minutes after I got out of this trade. Watch this. Same day, same trade. 15 minutes later, look where the market went back to at 11:10 in the morning, 11,605. I would have given almost all that profit back, but I didn't. Maybe. Look for the book link below. It will take you to the table of contents on my Amazon listing. The book makes it a little bit easier and faster to learn because you have everything in one place. I sure had a good time today. Thanks for being along. Hit the like button if you want to see more videos like this one. I'm Don Singletary. I hope every day is a payday for you. And thank you.